Welcome to another edition of The Leaders. I'm Yuli Ismartano from Asia Views in Colombo, capital city of the island republic of Sri Lanka. We are here to meet with two leaders of Sri Lanka's civil society. They are Mr. Suranjan Kudithuwakku and Mr. Ananda Galapati. Let's begin with Mr. Suranjan, who is founder and CEO of the Green Movement of Sri Lanka, the largest environmental network in the country, with 147 NGO members engaged in natural resources management. Mr. Suranjan started out as an environmental activist and journalist who co-edited the Sri Lankan Citizens Report for the 1992 UN Conference on the Environment and Development in Rio de Janeiro. He is also founder of the Center for Environmental Justice, and he sits in the International Committee of the NGO Forum on ADB. Mr. Suranjan, thank you for being with the Leaders Program.
Thank you.
Let me start by asking you to explain how the Green Movement of Sri Lanka began and what are its activities.
Yeah, it was a long discussion that we had since 90s. The beginning of the 1990s, there were a lot of international pressure for environmental conservation and the life-threatening environmental hazards. So in Sri Lanka also there were a lot of dialogue emerged in the universities basically about this human crisis coupled with the environmental crisis. So there are a lot of political dialogue in terms of how politically this can be settled or can be taken up. At the same time, some people were a little bit of social environmental angle looking in that. So I was one of the groups that look in this from the community angle and also how to get the social justice within this environmental conservation paradigm. And then we worked together with several other NGOs in Sri Lanka as a freelance journalist. I started my career with some of the environmental organizations to prepare the Sri Lankan Citizens Report on Environment and Development for the United Nations Conference on Environment and Development held in Brazil. So that was the beginning to become a small network to work on environment and development issues. And then there were several networks worked toward that. But it was Colombo based. So I had a feeling that the rural communities and the rural youth should come up with this environmental awareness and they should empower. And then in 1998 I formed the Green Movement of Sri Lanka, getting the 98 organizations working around the country, especially on the community development, and which the organization had some kind of environmental concerns. That is the beginning of the Green Movement of Sri Lanka.
What are its main activities?
The main activities was the empowering the communities and make some environmental activists and training of trainers who could train their own people on the ground. That was the two programs. We call it the empowering the communities. And second one is the policy lobby and advocacy in terms of environment development, which we were one of the very powerful advocacy organization in Sri Lanka, and still we are, to emerge the dialogue with the government and also the decision makers. And also at that time we thought that the Sri Lankan government is not only the policy maker or the decision maker. So then we saw the IFIs, the international financial institutions such as World Bank, Asian Development Bank and Japan Bank for International Cooperation etc. So then we start dialoguing with those people, but it was very strange to them, and asked, why you are talking to us, you should go and talk to your government. Then we said, no, we have to, you are the people, you have the immunity, whatever you decide, and put into the Sri Lankan government, and you put it as a conditionality. So we want you to look into this problem. So 2-3 years it was very embarrassing, and they thought we are like mosquitoes or parasites, but now it's okay. They always have a 3 months briefing meeting with us. So that is the greatest achievement that we achieved in the last 6-7 years in terms of decision-making process in the country.
So basically lobbying to change policy.
Yes, exactly. We earlier we saw it something like country strategy papers, and then in beginning of the 2000 it was turned out a thing called the PRSP, the Poverty Reduction Strategy Program. So it was like all the donors, banks and everybody in a kind of a basket donor stage. And so we have to lobby with some donor country embassies, and also lobby with these 3 major banks that who funded Sri Lankan annual budget.
In developing countries, NGOs, especially environmental NGOs, are always in conflict with the government because of commercial interests or security interests. What is the situation in Sri Lanka? Do you have an adversarial relation with the government?
Yes, it's we leisurely call it like we have the love and hate relationships with the government. Sometimes the government wants us, sometimes they don't like us, they don't want us. So in terms of when they plan a big development program, so then they think that they should hide everything from us. So then we are going towards them and asking where is the environmental impact assessment report. It was in the constitution, so where is it? So that is the beginning of bad relationship. But we now the government has also understand some kind of importance of the environmental organizations. So they need us to come and criticize or come and enrich some of the programs. So in that term, we think that not only the government, but the World Bank and the ADB has now developed a lot of good policies in terms of safeguards towards this development programs. So we think that it's okay, we have some good and we have some bad relationships also. But it has not, it has a kind of a balance still. It has not, in the past it went very bad, and we were, a lot of environmentalists in this country were threatened, life threatened, and but now it is little bit a balanced relationship. But at the same time, because of the present situation, most of the organizations keep kind of a self-censorship of their activities.
Low profile.
Low profile.
Talking about the environment in Sri Lanka, what is the most threatening environmental problem in the country?
It's basically, if you, what I see is as the environment problem. I always linked, the green movement always linked it with the life of the people, or life of the every being in the earth. The most threatening issue at the moment is the water and air pollution. And if you see that the water, air and soil polluted, the people had a lot of problem in terms of drinking water and in terms of food. And also there are a lot of the hazardous health problems has come in because of the air pollution. So that is the 3 main concerns. Or if you think about, we are not going to categorize deforestation, mining or industrialization like that. But in other way, we always say the water, air and the soil pollution is the biggest environment problems, and it is a kind of a threat to the humankind or the human civilization in Sri Lanka at the moment.